everyone, and welcome to Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 22nd. On today's show, we'll travel to the Island Tunnel and go behind the scenes in the train room during their off-season. We'll discover what engineering, maintenance, and improvements they are making in preparation for the new season. And Renee Maxwell will share with us some pictures that she brought back from her cruise to Bermuda earlier this year. But first, we want to remind you that there will be a trip to Whole Foods Market in Naples tomorrow. It's time to go organic as you walk through aisles of natural and organic grocery items, housewares, and other products. Residents are welcome to enjoy their lunch at the Whole Foods buffet as well. The cost for the trip is $8 with lunch on your own. Court pickups begin at 9:45 on the island. Also tomorrow, the Aviation Club will meet at 1:15. This month's guest is Pete Rode, an engineer, mechanic, and pilot from Oklahoma City with extensive experience in the design and fabrication of flight simulators for the U.S. Air Force and American Airlines. Pete currently works for the FAA and will discuss ways that they are using flight simulators to improve safety and efficiency, as well as new technologies currently being tested that may soon end up in aircraft and impact our day-to-day travel. Join the Aviation Club tomorrow at 1:15. One of Shell Point's resources designed to help you stay in touch with our community is the website at shellpoint.net. Not only can you learn about events and classes, but you can also register for them right from the website. Join Shell Point's webmaster, Mike Haber, tomorrow as he will show you how to take full advantage of the website and learn everything that is available to you there. The class begins at 1 p.m. in the Grand Cypress Room at the Woodlands. It's time now to put on our conductor's hat and head down to the model train room on the island. Tours are currently closed through the summer, but that doesn't mean there's no activity there. The trains may be off the tracks for now, but that's only because everyone's busy with maintenance and improvements, getting ready for when the tours begin again. Paul Schnoes and his team were happy to give us a tour behind the scenes and up close to the work that they are doing. We are down in the train room in the Island Tunnel, and it is summertime. That means the train room is closed, but that doesn't mean that activity has stopped here. No, indeed, we have a whole crew that's busy here working on maintenance and upgrades, which is what goes on in the summertime. Now, normally, when there's a lot of folks coming through here, they have to kind of put some things off and wait, but the summertime is when it comes together for all kinds of upgrades. So, we're going to take a little tour here and see what the folks are working on. Phyllis Ingalls is up first, and Phyllis takes care of a lot of things that you don't necessarily see. You call them the
invisible items.
The invisible items, like recruiting docents and training folks to handle all the things that need to happen around here. So what are you working on this summer, Phyllis?
Well, I'm keeping my eye open for greeters and docents, and we have a brand new docent, and she's a brand new bride, and she is Lynn Tutton, and she is here with us, and we had training on Monday. So we spend a couple hours on training so that when the docents do actually come and give the tour, they know the work and they know what they have to tell everyone. And then we also have the same thing going with our greeters. And fortunately right now our greeters are all online, so that's good. And then the second part of my job is the publicity. And you know that because I pester you all the time. But anyway, I work through Melody. She's wonderful. But I look into the Shell Point Life and the Chamber of Commerce. We're all over there. Paul and I have gone out to speak with different groups to tell them that we exist. And so there's all that kind of work that has to be done and prepared in the summer. And so I do a lot of footwork.
And there's always a need for more help, more volunteers.
Oh, please. We certainly, we really could use a docent, and we're looking for one for Mondays. And we're looking for engineers. I do that also and help out Paul. And the greeters were in good shape, but you know what? We can always use more of any of you. We'll train you, have you ready to go. And it's really, I think a lot of people are frightened because they think, oh, there's so much here. Honest. Trust me, I make it real simple. It's fun.
And you get to meet lots of interesting folks, people that are coming through, family of residents, and all kinds of fun people.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because you do from all over the world, not just Fort Myers. And also, we have a tour for children. because the children come through and they're really not interested in a lot of history. So all of our docents are trained that they work with children, and they have fun and they play games and the kids get into it, and it's fun. We have a good time. Yep.
Great.
So we have a little bit of everything for everyone.
So if you're looking for a fun way to spend an afternoon during season, come see Phyllis and she'll set you right up.
Thank you.
Well, something that we don't normally get to see with the train layout during a normal tour is what Mike's showing over here. There's some hidden trap doors in the middle. They give access to all these areas out in the middle. So Mike, what are you working on out there?
One of our objectives during the off period is to take all the cars off the track, clean all the tracks, clean all the wheels on every single car, all the engine wheels, check the couplers to make sure they're all interconnect, and then we put them in boxes or they're laying under all the tables. Right now I'm in a hatch which opens so we can gain access to areas that we couldn't reach from the outside. There are 10 of these hatches. Well, I've only opened up 4. That gives us access to areas that you can't reach from the outside. The next step would be to look at all the cars that are in all the boxes and clean all the track. When we're ready to put them back on the tracks, we'll have clean cars, the tracks will be clean, and the cars should run a lot smoother.
Now this is an ongoing project over many years that Paul Schnoes and his wife Babs have been working on to upgrade the realism in all of the detail, the fine little details of the scenery. And what we've got here is an amazing upgrade for trees. Tell me about these trees you're working on, Paul.
Over the years, Babs and I have tried hard to, as you mentioned, to upgrade the detail of the layout, to make it look real. What does the layout really look like to little people coming out of a little town like we have in the layout? What we have found is a new way to make trees. You can't buy these trees because if you did, they're too expensive. You can buy these trees, but we make all our trees, and in the last 8 years, we've probably made 1,400 trees. This represents another 150 we just made, and these come from a bush out of Scandinavia, of all places. And I found these trees about 3 years ago, and obviously, oddly enough, I found it at the layout of the model train club up in North Fort Myers. They had them on their layout. I asked him, where'd you find those trees? And he told me, and I sent away for him. And what you wind up with is a bush, all these pieces coming out of it. When you take them apart and cut them apart, you can get into the structure of a tree. And we take that tree and we dip it into glue, and the ladies that do this hold it in a pair of tweezers, and you put substance on top of it, let it dry, and it comes out looking pretty much like a real deciduous tree that you'd find.
Right. So what do you put, some little particles of something?
Particles on, just sprinkle them on there and glue them again, and let them dry, and we can make a bunch of trees very inexpensively. And rather than paying about $2 or $2.50 a piece for these, we make them for about 35 cents a piece.
Wow. They look so realistic. I mean, even seeing it in your hand, obviously you see the sense of scale and know the size, but when you just look at that, it looks like a little tree.
And on our layout, this represents a tree about 35, 40 foot high, because we're talking about 1/87th of real scale. So that's what we make, and they look good on the layout, and they last a while. The purpose of these trees is to add more trees to the layout, and also to some that us guys, what I call 5-finger cranes, when we go in to fix a wreck on a train, we kind of destroy a tree or two here once in a while.
Sure, yeah.
So these are here to replace those trees.
So you have a few spare trees on hand.
Spare trees. And,
Whoops.
So we make these as required, and so this will help us for another year or so.
Now, how do they, I see right here, they're standing up in styrofoam, but how do they stand up on the actual layout?
When I plant the tree on the layout, I take a little tiny drill and a drill to shoot the hole, put it in the hole, and put a little glue on it, and then it's done.
Okay. You're actually digging a hole in the ground out there.
That's right.
Just like how you plant a real tree.
Same way, except I don't use a drill.
They look great, Paul. They really look great.
Yeah, we can get them any size. Some of them come out so that you wind up with a huge tree if you want.
Wow, that's a nice one.
And that's just the way they come out of off the bush. And so you don't need too many of these on this kind of layout because I don't have enough space out there. But the trees we do.
Very nice, very nice. Now, Phil Steen's been a stalwart member of this team for a long time. And Phil, what is it that you've got working here?
Well, I used to be here when we had wind-up trains, but not quite that long. Now, we have a digital system to run the engines, actually. The engines each have a little, like a computer in them, and they're controlled by these throttles that we have here. And the engineer can run the speed of the train or blow the whistle or from this through this digital system. These little power supplies are actually what actually run the trains. None of the rest of the stuff has anything to do with making the trains go. Only these things here. And what I do is it's a computer system, and I kind of watch over it over the summer, make sure everything's working right. It doesn't take a lot of maintenance, but it means you make sure everything does come out right. So that's one of the things I do. The other thing I do is the Model Railroader magazine and catalogs and even the internet. I follow them to see what's new in the hobby, to if anything comes along that we might be able to use in our system. And since I can't do a lot of work anymore or anything, I can think up things for other people to do. So
That sounds like the best job of all.
that's what I do in the summer anyway.
So your Gulf Coast Model Railroad crew is hard at work this summer, refurbing, rehabbing, making sure every train car is going to run smoothly, dependably, so that on Monday, October 5th, it's going to be ready for you again. So make a date on your calendar, and in the fall, come on out and see the new and improved Shell Point Train Room. Renee Maxwell from Harbor Court was one of 10 Shell Point residents that took a cruise to Bermuda last month. She brought back pictures that she was excited to share with us. First, she visits with Rich Nation to give us a few details about the trip and then to share her pictures.
Hello, Shell Point. We're here today with Renee Maxwell, and she recently took a trip, and it was by boat, and it was to some islands called Bermuda, and this was earlier this summer. Tell us about this trip and who all went, and first of all, so if people don't know, where is Bermuda?
Bermuda is a wonderful island, as probably most of us know, that is off the shores of, well, we're about 600 miles down from Boston, and it's off the shores of North Carolina, probably about another 600 miles. So it's in this beautiful turquoise little community that is it's a mixture of the British and the U.S. So just a fun little place to visit. It's so beautiful, and I know many people have been there. So 10 of us from Shell Point went on a cruise to Bermuda. Icings Travel sponsored it, and we met up with another group of Icings travel group from the East Coast. So there were probably about 39 or 40 of us together, but 10 from here. So Icings Travel graciously took the 10 of us the night before, so we got to be there the night before the ship took off, and we left, I think, on May 29th, and we were gone for the first week of June. So all in all, it was a wonderful trip, and I know we took, Debbie was one of our leaders from Icings, and she took many, many pictures, and she went on a lot of the different excursions with a lot of the group. So these pictures are some of the pictures that she took. Some of them are specific places, and a lot of them are just a lot of us doing a lot of fun things.
Excellent,
So that's
excellent.
what we'd like to show you.
Yes, you brought quite a few pictures, and we're going to show them to the audience, but we want to talk about just a few here first. This first picture here, talk to us about what we're looking at here.
This is a picture just at the beginning. We were all meeting and greeting. So we were meeting a lot of friends that came from the other places, and certainly the 10 of us knew each other, but not that well. So it was just a time to get the group together, and that's what we did on some of these early pictures. They were a lot of wonderful excursions, but one special one was a sail around the island of Bermuda.
On that sailboat.
On a sailboat. It's about a 40-foot sailboat. And the ship contracts out with one of the sailors, and he and his wife had their own boat. And there were 11 of us off the ship that went on this trip. It was, to me, one of the best things that you could do there. He sailed all around the whole island completely there in the beautiful turquoise waters. Gave us time to raise the sails, and we got to drop anchor and do a few of the fun things on there. And the best part, I think, for a few of them was to jump off. And he pulled into this beautiful dock, this beautiful cove there, and a couple of us, I didn't, but a few others jumped in the water and had fun there. So you'll see those pictures also.
Oh, nice.
This is pretty much of a group picture of those of us that were traveling. It was a time when we met so many different people from so many different areas that we got together and we really became good friends, mainly because I feel, not just because of the people that were on it, but because of the directors that came from Icing's Travel. They made sure that we had such a good time, and they did everything to make it that way. Another picture that you're looking at is table talk. Every night we, even if you did many different things during the day, at night we met for dinner, and sometimes we switched tables, and that was good. So we met some of the other people from different places too.
Different people each night.
Yeah,
That's nice.
and then you got to talk about what you did, because there were so many. There were over 100 different excursions that you could take. So different people went to different places, and so you had wonderful discussions, and they had wonderful pictures to show us. Another picture that you're going to see is our ship is one of the smaller ships. We went on the Veendam, which was Holland America, and that ship gets to dock right down in downtown Hamilton, which is the capital of Bermuda. And so that ship can go in right downtown. There were a few other cruise ships, but they have to tender in because it's too small for them to dock downtown.
Right.
So our ship was right downtown, so you get off and you just walk around wherever you want.
Wow.
So we were 2 days at sea getting there. It was about 640 miles. And then we were in the town of Bermuda for about 3.5 days, and then another 2 days coming back. So
3.5 days, that's quite a good time to
we had a lot of time
tour
just to
everything
tour
and learn,
everything and
yes.
take. There were many different ways. I mean, you could just get off the ship and walk into the evening and go on separate tours. They had a lot of good tours that were planned. So it was a wonderful way to see Bermuda. It really was.
Well, that is absolutely wonderful. Now tell me, how often do these opportunities come up at Shell Point to take trips like this?
I think if you look over at our racks at the Resident Activity Center, there are probably about 4 or 5 already that are lined up for different places. So you can just see what's coming up and pick and choose if there's something that you're interested in, and they're all over. Now, Bermuda, I don't think has been on there before. It might have been, but not recently. But you'll see different ones that are repeated and totally different ones, so there's many choices. I'm not here to sell our trips, but they're wonderful. The different trips that we have, they're just great. And you know that you're well taken care of because the group is together. They help you with everything that they can, and it's just a good time to be together.
Well, all right. If looking at these pictures sparks your interest and you think, well, this is something I'd like to do, there's plenty more opportunities that you can take a trip like this. Just go to either service desk and go to the Activity Center and find out about it and sign up for one of these trips. Now, we're going to show you the rest of the pictures that Renee brought in this little collage here for the rest of this segment.
Come and join us and have a great time.
And now it's time for all of the latest happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello and welcome to the Happening segment of Shell Point TV. I'm Caitlin Van Scoy and I'm here with Bev Chanley, and we're going to let you know Wednesday's activities here at Shell Point. We're going to start at 8:45 with Lily and Company Jewelers coming here for their weekly service at the Resident Activity Center. At 9 o'clock, Jurassic Travel will be here for your personal traveling needs in the egret room. Also at 9 o'clock, the men's round robin doubles tennis will be playing at the Woodlands tennis courts. Watercolor group with Phil Hilton will meet in the art studio down in the Island Tunnel at 9 o'clock. And the card making and scrapbooking group will be meeting in the Tarpon Room at 9:15. At 10:15, the Model Yacht Sailing Club will be meeting at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands to sail their yachts. And our last morning activity is at 11:30 with the Health Connections class, Bar Basics Session B in the Health Club, and that's currently full. I'll take you to Bev to tell you about our afternoon.
Thanks, Caitlin. 12:45, we have a Health Connections class today, Advanced Senior Strength, Session 5. That's in the Health Club. You do need to sign up in advance. We'll move to 1 o'clock, where chess will be played in the Library Lounge on the island. 1:15, we have another Health Connections class, Home Care and You, What You Need to Know. That's in the Social Center. At 1:15, we have a Hearing Enrichment group meeting in the Manatee Room on the island. We have another Health Connections class at 1:45, Balance and Mobility Training Level 1, Session B in the Health Club. At 3 o'clock, we have the Bible study at the Community Room of King's Crown. And 4:30 is the time for indoor bocce in the Health Club. We have a singles table available at the Crystal Dining Room tonight, and that begins at 5. And we round out the evening at 7:15 with Prayer and Praise with Andy Hawkins at the Village Church. Well, we hope you have a great day, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 10 o'clock, we have Legacy Seminar number 3, Peace of Mind, in the Grand Cypress Room of the Woodlands, and you can sign up at either service desk. At 1 o'clock, our intermediate bridge class continues in the Game Room of the Woodlands. And at 3 o'clock, Internet Prep School continues in the Computer Center at the Woodlands. Tomorrow, we have Taking Full Advantage of Your Website with Shell Point's own webmaster, Mike Haber.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is turkey pot pie served with a biscuit and fried broccoli. The soup of the day is minestrone. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a Philly cheesesteak panini with chips for $7.75. The dinner special is grilled shrimp for $8.75. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are veal Milanese for $15.95 or Florida grouper for $21.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Welcome to Village Church Connections. I'm David Pavey. Some time ago, Nancy and I signed a contract to sell our house. Following the lawyer's instructions, the buyers penned their signatures on every page of the document. We did the same. The whole contract was, as the Brits like to say, done and dusted. But our excitement soon proved ill-founded. Within a short time, the buyers backed out of the deal, the contract was in default, and we had to put the house back on the market. A year later, we went through the process again with a different buyer who honored the contract. We were happy campers again. One of my friends who is a building contractor tells me of disappointments on a much larger scale than that. He has copies of contracts that are several hundred pages in length, signed in many places by contractor and client, and guaranteed by an insurance company. But the performance he reports was at least sloppy, and at worst it was fraudulent. Safeguards don't help when one party is not acting in good faith. Little wonder, therefore, that many Americans currently feel uncertain about the value of treaties made with the nations that have not proved themselves to be trustworthy. The summits may prove helpful in the long run, but it could be a very long time before we feel we can trust those who have defaulted in the past. Their track record leaves much to be desired. A contract is no more reliable than the one with whom it is made. Of course, some people are trustworthy, many. Although Samuel Goldwyn claimed that a verbal contract isn't worth the paper it's written on, if you get the oxymoron. My builder friend once constructed 4 houses for an acquaintance on the strength of nothing more than an order placed over the telephone. But the buyer was a man who was never late for an appointment, paid every bill within 24 hours. In short, he was trustworthy. So, when God makes a contract or a covenant, we can count 100% on its reliability. Never will it go into default. Never will he change his mind or back out of a deal. What he has promised, he will do. And God has made a contract with us. Think about that. This is the covenant I will make with them. Their sins and their lawless acts I will remember no more. That's found in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 10, by the way. What a contract. When we accept God's gift of eternal life by trusting Jesus Christ as our substitute sacrifice, God not only forgives our sins, he forgets them. Now, we may be haunted by memories of our mistakes, but when we recall them in God's presence, he says, in effect, and I quote Clara Barton, the nurse who founded the American Red Cross, I distinctly remember forgetting that. He forgets. David the psalmist assures us that as far as the east is from the west, so far has he removed our transgressions from us. So, if you're a Christian, take heart. The contract is reliable because the one who made it is none other than God himself. No further guarantee is needed. You can count on it. And thank you for tuning in to Village Church Connections.
Thanks for joining us for today's show. Tomorrow, Melody Desolé will be here to highlight some of the resident volunteers we have at Shell Point that help keep so many of the activities and services that we enjoy functioning. And Jeff Corey of the Legacy Foundation will give us a preview of what to expect during Money Week. That happens next month. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 22nd. I'm Dan Philgreen, and from all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.